It's been a busy week for the United Arab Emirates with the UAE National Day, Formula One in town, and of course the final round of the 2024 season of the Champions of the Future Academy Programme here in the beautiful city of Abu Dhabi. And it's a city where that modern life meets tradition, and it all falls down to the Forsan circuit just outside the Yas Marina circuit. That, of course, plays host to that final round of the FIA Formula One Championship later on this weekend. I'm your commentator, Anthony Jordan. I'll be taking you through all the racing over the course of the next few hours, with the qualifying heats coming up, and of course those finals later on today. A look at the track, though. We're racing on for the final round of the championship, the Forsan International Sports Resort Karting Circuit. Year of opening 2010. Event record set by Daniel Keller, but that was just beaten in time qualifying, with Luna Flusha going in with a sub 55, going in with the 54 seconds. But the sessions, though, the track, a brilliant venue. It's 165 metres down the start-finish straight. It's 80 metres between turns 9 and 10. But total track length is 1,200 metres. The 1.2-kilometre circuit spans an 8-metre wide circuit with an elevation change of 5 metres as you climb up and down through the roller coaster of a circuit that is the Forsan kart track. 17 turns as well for the drivers, 11 to the right, 6 to the left, and that includes 3 hairpins out there, and each and every one of those corners provides a perfect overtaking opportunity. But these are the hot spots. We've seen them in towards turn 1, we see them into turns 3 and 4, the hairpin of turn 7, down the hill into turn 8, we see it into turn 10, turn 12 and 16 and 17. This is where it really starts to heat up for the drivers, but right now they have just finished their qualifying. They're going to focus on this one. But the top speeds, well, they'll be reaching that into that top section of the circuit, 110 kilometers an hour as they carry it through the banking of turn number 9, averaging a speed of 72 kilometers an hour. It is a very fast lap. It's a brilliant circuit. The weather is superb, and it's all ready for the final round of the season. The third round of the Middle Eastern phase, the 6th round of the series in total, and everyone is primed, ready to watch this one, including some officials from the Mercedes-AMG F1 team there. Gwen LeGroux joining us here this weekend ahead of the Formula One. Of course, he's keeping an eye on all the young talent that is out there, because this is where the inaugural round of the championship, where some drivers did get spotted in the form of in the junior category. James Anagnostiidis from Australia is where he got spotted, and for that race, qualifying heat 1 is coming up next. Now we are pushing these drivers right to their limits in this session, because of course it's very, very warm out there. These drivers have had to deal with scorching temperatures and hot conditions out on track, but they've dealt with it superbly, and they get themselves primed and ready. But a new pole sitter for this weekend for the United Arab Emirates, Conor Clancy, found himself on the top spot. Here's what he had to say after time qualifying. Well, at the end of time qualifying for the Champions of the Future Academy Programme at the Forsan circuit on day 2 of racing, it's a brand new pole sitter today. Conor Clancy back on the top spot. It's where you wanted to be in the junior category. And today, it's a beautiful day, sunshine. How are you feeling after time qualifying?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Quali was really good, really fast, so hopefully we can carry that pace on into the heats and finals.
Yeah. This has been a challenging season, so many ups and downs, but now it's the final day of racing. Are you just looking forward to getting the racing started and seeing how it all goes?
Yeah, can't wait for the racing. Hopefully we can try and reduce the gap in the championship, because I'm second right now, so yeah.
Let's see how it goes, but you're feeling confident ahead of today and fully ready to go?
After qualifying, really confident.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. Well done. We'll see you on that front row.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. He is still in that championship fight, P2 in the championship. However, he cannot claim the win in that, but he's certainly fighting for that P2. He's battling away with the likes of Casper Reipold, but Reipold had a really tough day yesterday, and William Marshall as well with a good result. Certainly pushed himself up in that order as well. So there is still a close fight. There, those joining him on the front row of the grid is Axel Nocom, the driver of the 21. A brilliant session for Axel Nocom from the Philippines. very, very strong performance here, and looking forward to seeing what this young driver can do. Certainly delivering, of course, everyone on that same equipment. There he is, focused and ready. He's happy ahead of that at the end of that qualifying session. And before these qualifying heats, of course, they're all running on the exact same equipment, the Kart Republic KR2 chassis powered by the OKN junior engine, slightly restricted, but it is the same engine block that what the seniors would use. However, it's just slightly restricted, meaning the pace is pretty close. There is your driver who is leading the championship standings. He, at this moment, I think is, well, all he needs to do is just race today, and he's absolutely fine. He's had a solid season here, multiple final wins. James Anagnosiadis of Australia is looking to claim that title today, and I think he will do so very, very quickly on in the day's racing coming up. Whistle blows. We are moments away from starting this race. As you can see, everyone watching from the sidelines. The heat haze in the background here at the Forsan International Sports Resort. A brilliant, brilliant venue. Lots of hard work has gone into this circuit since the first time we were here at the back end of last year in November, where the Champions of the Future Academy program was born. We were racing into the night there, but no such night races this weekend. It's all in the daylight, which means the drivers do have to deal with those scorching temperatures just that little bit more. But the air temp is staying a little bit lower right now. But like you say, here it's a dry heat. Certainly makes it a little bit challenging. There, the close-up of Connor Clancy, focused, ready to go in this one. And again, really, really strong drive over the course of yesterday for all of these drivers. Connor Clancy yesterday finishing 4th in that final. Will he finish a bit higher up later on today? Engines fire up, drivers make their way out onto the circuit. Let's take you through that full starting lineup for the OKN Junior qualifying Heat 1 in Forsan. It will be Connor Clancy and Axel Nocom on row number 1. James Anagnosiadis and Nathan Cappin on row 2. Vanessa Shilkaneta and Dinia Islamov go from row 3. They'll have William Marshall and Nicholas Stanley on row 4. Egon Prodotti and Didier Cleef go from row 5. They'll have Matej Vitva and Veer Chopra on row number 6. Sakura Dole and Leonidas Peruzzi go from row number 7. Ella Hakkinen and Aryan Singh on row 8. They'll have Mitach Jain and Amelia Vishamirska on row number 9. Kesa Ziza and Maxim Bobrajov round out the top 20. They go from row 10. Oscar Gallen and Xavier Dudkovsky go from row 11. They'll have Victoria Farfus and Jan Michalesco on row 12. Marcel Scabella and Enna Pazzuto round out row 13. They'll have Angelina Simmons and Corrine Kaur on row 14. Sanjana Dandu and Vera Yuland go from row 15. Jacob Woods, Sujana Dandu, Toby Gale and Casper Reipold round out the 17 rows. And I've got to say, for Toby Gale, yesterday's final winner, that qualifying did not go his way at all. And he starts this one right at the back of the field. And he's got a long way to go in this day of racing if he wants to claw that win back in the final. That would be the true challenge for Gale. Let's see what happens. But eyes will focus on that title fight. Anagnosiadis needs to just get to the end of today, and he is clear and dry. The Mercedes Junior driver will join his fellow Mercedes Junior driver in the seniors, Luna Flusha, in a title win at the end of today. But Connor Clancy and Casper Reipold still in contention on that second place and third place spots in the standings. Some of the minis looking on here at the racing as, are we going round? I think we are going round again. It is a false start. We are not racing right now, so I think a little eager on the old power there to get them going. That gives us a little bit more time to go over some of the qualifying results from today, of course, in terms of the actual pace and times that they were putting out on the circuit, because again it was a very, very busy session. There's a look at the marshals out on circuit. Brilliant work by the marshalling team over the course of this weekend. They've had to deal with the hot temperatures out there as well, but we couldn't go racing without the hard-working, dedicated marshals on the circuit, so we do thank them very kindly. Drivers making their way around into that final sector to show how good the pace was from Connor Clancy. Was cleared by Axel Nocom by 0.2 of a second after the 4 laps. James Anagnostiadis was just fractionally off Nocom's time, so the pace between those top runners is actually pretty close here. The same for Kappen as well. Nathan Kappen, who really impressed yesterday with his qualifying heat results, came away with some good results, actually, a third and a second. Are we going racing this time, though? We are indeed. We are racing in the first qualifying heat for the juniors as they make their way in towards turn number 1. It's a good start for the front rows here. Connor Clancy still in the lead of this race, but I think Anagnostiadis had the better start on that inside line. Nocom on the outside, just not able to carry the pace through turn number 1, but is still fighting there, and I think Nathan Kappen's just going to send it down the inside there, and yes, he has. Kappen has gone down the inside there, and in fact, I don't actually see the number 21 inside that top 4. I think that's Vanessa Schilcanetta who has got herself up into that 4th place spot. Where did Nocom go? That's going to be an interesting one. We'll have to see when they next cross the timing beam, which is on the start-finish line. But there you can see, though, it is still Connor Clancy leading the way at the front from James Anagnostiadis, the Australian, just needing to work his way through today. There is William Marshall. There is Axel Nocom. Nocom's found himself down into about P5 now, so not the best start for the driver of the Philippines from the front row, but his pace is quick, so we expect him to push forward in this race. Big movers on that first lap. Ardian Singh up 7 places. Also, you've got Case Aziza up 5 places, saying that, spoke with Case this morning, he was saying the track was feeling good. However, just that little bit slippy in the first session. Eyes on this. Clancy battling with Anagnostiadis. These two line astern right now, but keep an eye on Nathan Kappen. He's yet to take a qualifying heat win in this race weekend, but he has certainly looked like he's got the pace of it. There's a look at the final results for Connor Clancy over the course of this season, because he's had a couple of podiums here, podiums in Valencia, good podiums in Franciacorta, but didn't take a win in the European phase. He got his first final win in Dubai, where he got that P1, but certainly a very strong result for him. And we look forward to seeing whether or not he can capitalise on that a little bit later on in the final. But keep a close eye. This top 4 absolutely line astern right now. And Vanessa Schilcanetta is the fastest out of them. She's P4. Scratch that. Oh, she tried to go for P3 there down the inside of Nathan Kappen. Just wasn't close enough. And Kappen slams that door closed in through the hairpin. So he right now, again, needs to just focus, try and push himself forward and see what happens here. But there's the change for the lead. Anagnostiadis to the inside. A superb dive down the inside there. And Anagnostiadis, the title leader, now leads this first qualifying heat out of the final corner. Onto the start-finish straight they go, but he's under pressure here. Connor Clancy is going to look to the inside. Not close enough this time around. How close could you be? Anagnostiadis slams that door closed. That causes a ripple effect in the background, and now Nathan Kappen has got himself up into 3rd place. Vanessa Schilcanetta is still there, fighting away. She's an incredibly talented young female from Lithuania. Her brother, of course, out here as well, racing in the seniors. And right now, she is pushing herself forward. She's just got herself past Nathan Kappen, and now William Marshall has got through as well. So Marshall, who has had a really strong season over the course of this year, is pushing himself up nicely. But then now the gap has opened up between the two of them. And Clancy and Anagnostiadis, they are starting to break away here. Marshall's putting on the pressure, though, and is going to go to the inside. Here comes the likes of Dilia Islamov, I think, pushing his way through. Axel Nocom still there in P7. So Dilia Islamov trying to get that move done the inside of the final corner, not close enough. But eyes on this. You've got the leader of the championship standings. You have got Clancy second in the standings. Now, they're not close enough to really put the pressure on each other in that title fight. However, Clancy is fighting for second in that title from the man who's currently a little further down in the order of this one. Reipold is just not having the weekend he wants here. Qualifying did not go his way, right at the back of the field with Toby Gale. He's up 6 places in this race, but his chance of getting second in the championship is just slowly fading away. An update on Toby Gale in this one as well. The driver from Thailand is up 13 places, up into P20 on lap 6 of 9. So he's having a good run in this, but again, he needs to gain those few more if he really wants to help himself out into that final later on today. Of course, all the categories here, 2 qualifying heats over the course of the day, will put them in their positions for the final. As Peruzzi now sets the fastest lap of the race. Leonidas Peruzzi currently in P15 right now, is down 1 position, but his pace is quick. Expect him to push up here. Clancy using a little bit more track there than Anagnosiadis to the edge, and they were told at the start of this weekend that you can go a little bit wider as long as you don't gain a lasting advantage from overtaking from going off track limits. You're all fine and clear, which is why you're seeing them just go a little bit wide out of some of these corners. And just coming in then for the drivers, and like you see here, Anagnosiadis and Clancy continuing to just push away. Clancy was the fastest driver on that previous lap, but that's been taken away. Mitash Jain for the UAE now goes fastest out on circuit. Currently 17th fastest right now, and still in a really strong position. Marshall, though, is starting to close in. The driver in 3rd place. The gap was just under 9/10 of a second on this 7th lap. We'll keep a close eye on that gap at the moment, but we're not seeing much change right now between these two. The top 10 as follows. Anagnosiadis from Clancy. Marshall in 3rd place from Shilkaneta. And it's Kappan from Nocom. Aryan Singh from Dimir Islamov. Egon Pedrotti and Nicholas Stanley currently rounding out the top 10. As again, everyone stays focused on these drivers on track right now. Through turn 2 at the Forsan circuit. Really tricky corner is turn 2. It goes uphill. It crests at the top. The front of the car goes light. It makes it a little bit difficult to turn in to the corner. And of course, that's why you see quite a few drivers run just that little bit wide. It also promotes you. If you're a bit too close to the driver in front, you can easily mount the rear bumper. So you don't want to be too close here. But I'm not too sure if we are on this final lap. But Anagnosiadis is going defensive now. That's pushing Clancy and Marshall much closer together. The timer is still ticking down at this moment in time. But Anagnosiadis still looking comfortable right now at the front. No chance for Conor Clancy to get past through the final corner. Drivers now going on to the final lap of this race. And it's all playing for this one now. So Anagnosiadis still looking comfortable at the front here. But it's the top 3. Liner Stern, Anagnosiadis, Clancy, Marshall, 1, 2, 3. We are on to the final lap of this race. And these drivers are pushing each other right to the ragged edge here. And you can see the drastic different racing lines between the two of them. Anagnosiadis going slightly tighter there into the hairpin of turn number 8 down the hill. Clancy taking the optimal line. But again here, just that tighter one runs a little bit wide on the exit though. Does Anagnosiadis to try and carry the speed here. But Conor Clancy, if he wants the move, he's just going to have to go full send here into these final couple of corners, but Anagnosiadis is going to park it right on the apex here. He's going to try and hold it. He slams it on the brakes on the final corner. Checker flag is out, and it will be James Anagnosiadis across the line. He will take that first win of the day in the qualifying heats. The title contender in 2024 in the juniors from Australia has started the day in spectacular fashion from the second row of the grid. Well, they will make their way back to Parc Ferme. A very strong result then for your top runners. Anagnosiadis, Conor Clancy and William Marshall. 1, 2, 3 at the end of that race. We'll see the full results hopefully in a few moments' time when these drivers get back. But that title fight just keeps going towards this man here. He's had a brilliant season, and he starts his final day of the 2024 season with that qualifying heat win. Well, they'll make their way back into Parc Fermé, over onto the weighbridge, of course. The race isn't over until they're fully checked over. They need to hit that minimum weight of 140 kilos. And if they are just a gram underneath it, if it comes in at 139.9, then they find themselves in a spot of bother. There's a look then at your results. Anagnosiadis from Clancy, Marshall from Shilkaneta, Kaplan from Nocom, Singh, Islamov, Prodotti, Stanley, Vitfer, Hakkinen, Aziza, Krief, and Peruzzi, the top 15. 16th place downwards sees via Chopra and Mitats Chain. Toby Gale up to 18th place at the end of that one from Victoria Farfus. Sakura Dole from Gallen. Then it's Angelina Simmons from Mikhailevsko, Popajov from Raipod, Sanjana Dandu from Vishamirska, Dudkovsky, Scapella, and Pazzuto, who rounds out the top 30. And it's Vera Yurland from Kareen Kaur, Sujana Dandu, and Jacob Woods, who rounds out the 34 kart field. The entire field separated by just 20 seconds. A very close race in that one, and all drivers finishing the first race of the day. But there is James Anagnosiadis. His first race of the day is done and dusted. He can now focus on that second qualifying heat a little bit later on today as well. But a very, very competitive drive there from the field for the juniors. And like you say, only 19 or so seconds separating the entire group of drivers. Well, here's a look then at the highlights at the end of that race. And initially, good start for the entire field there. A little bit shaky in the background. You can see some drivers getting tangled up just on that inside curb, and that's where the risk comes in. As you crest the hill there, you can see all the karts going light as they go over the top of that one. It just throws the kart off to the left-hand side just a little bit as they try to carry the speed, of course. But all these drivers running those Vega, the harder compound here, the XH4 tyres, trying their best to grip the tarmac here at the Forsan circuit. There was the change for the lead for James Anagnosiadis. From there, he would hold on to that one. Connor Clancy as well holding on to that second place. Vanessa Chilcaneta and Nathan Kaplan going wheel to wheel in those early stages. That would allow the likes of William Marshall to close in, and later on he would get up into third place and would push through. Nathan Kaplan able to claim a P4 in that one as well, as Luna Flusha watched on in that race with what could potentially be a very future team for her in the world of racing. And there you can see just those overtakes coming in thick and fast. The likes of Axel Nocom from that front row just trying to get back into position, unable to do so. But James Anagnosiadis then taking the first checker flag of the day. Ahead of Connor Clancy and William Marshall, the top three. Kaplan and Vanessa Chilcaneta holding on to the top 5. Well, that brings us to the end of OK Junior for the first round of qualifying heats. They'll be out later on today, hopefully on time at 1 o'clock local time here in the United Arab Emirates. But we will turn our attention now to Mini 60 that is coming out onto the circuit next for their first qualifying heat. And it was a very busy qualifying as well. Another brand new pole sitter from Australia. It's not brother Koda Singh, but it is Oscar Singh. This time finds himself on that top spot and has put it in a really strong position. There's a look at his results over the season, but we caught up with him after time qualifying. Here's what he had to say. Well, at the end of a very warm qualifying session for the Mini 60 category, a brand new pole sitter for his first appearance here. It's the brother of Koda Singh, Oscar Singh. You're here on pole position. Congratulations. How are you feeling at the end of that one?
I'm feeling great. I'm happy because it's my first pole position overseas. Yeah.
It's a busy season, is it? But yeah, let's talk about those races because you're starting on the front. This is going to be an exciting position for you to be in. How are you feeling ahead of those races?
Confident. It's hot, but we can manage, and I know I can do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the time, and we look forward to seeing how you get on there on the track. But it's, like you say, it's going to be a busy day, so confidence is high, though.
yeah.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. We'll see you out there.
Thanks.
Well, good chat there to our man starting on that top spot. As there you can see, the karts have made their way out onto the circuit already. So let's quickly fire you through that full starting lineup. It is Oscar Singh for the first time this season on pole position. He'll be joined by Albert Tam, yesterday's pole sitter, with Davide Di Filippo and Atika Mir on row number 2. A brilliant qualifying for those four. Nikita Janilov and Benjamin Karajkovic starts on row number 3. They'll have Nicolo Perico and Augustine Felagoni on row 4. Priyan Bruno and Ava Lawrence go from row 5. Of course, Priyan Bruno is the title contender here this weekend, and he just needs those strong results to secure it at the end of today, but he starts this one on the 5th row. Vicente Capella and Achilles Peruzzi go from row number 6. They'll have Matis Branjot and Koda Singh on row 7. Giovanni Desani Jr. and Marc-Martin Lometz go from row 8. They'll have Daniela Verba and Lorenzo Zucchetto on row 9. Ari Kallenberg and Sebastian Kurz on row 10. They'll have Enzo Stamberg and Francisco Lizagnoli on row 11. Maddox Mason and Jan Godzielik on row 12. From Lina Salamanca and Theodore Constantinou on row 13. Ronald Ventnor, Daoud Zanfari, Suleiman Mucho will start on the 29th spot. They'll round out the 29 drivers in this one. Aaron Mason not taking part in qualifying and believe not out on circuit for this one either. We didn't see him out on track yesterday. Reminder of the qualifying heats yesterday. In the first qualifying heat, it was Albert Tam who took the win after his pole position, his second pole position of the season, from Achilles Peruzzi and Vicente Capella of Portugal. That was their results from that first qualifying heat yesterday. What could it be today? Because, like I say, some brand new drivers up there in the sharp end. Oscar Singh, Davide Di Filippo, Atika Mir as well in that top 4. Very strong qualifying results for the drivers. As you can see, smiles around, everyone ready ahead of this first qualifying heat for the Mini 60 category. And, of course, for the Mini Under 10s. Now, there is a kart that spun in the background there. I am not sure who that is, but we will find out when we cross the line. Here we go then. Are we going racing for the first time? Now, the lights have not gone green for me in the commentary box. I don't know if we are racing or if that is a false start. It looks like they're racing here because they're certainly going for it. So we'll call it as if they are. But it's a good start then for everyone. No, I'm saying it here. It's a new formation start. So even the drivers thought they were going. But it is a new formation lap. It is a false start. And yes, I should have trusted my timing screen from the word go on that one. But certainly drivers didn't get the message on the exit of turn number 2, as I think they were about 4 or 5 wide on the exit of turn 2 there. So it is a false start. I am still unawares of that driver who had spun on that opening lap there. So it was the driver who didn't actually make the start of that race. So we'll try and figure who that was in a few moments' time. But the driver's already into that final sector. They're going to need to slow it down now, get everyone side by side. That 2x2 rolling start formation. They'll approach the red line. This is where they should be nice and slow. There is the red line, and they are indeed nice and slow here. There is our race director, Martin Bean, watching this one. He will have called the false start on that initial turnaround. This time, he's hoping for a clean getaway for the Minis. This is looking better, and we are racing. Lights are out, down in towards turn number 1. And it's again a good start for the inside line, but watch out for Albert Tam on the outside. The driver second place is looking to go for the lead here. Has he done it in towards turn number 2 and 3? The answer is yes. Albert Tam from that front row has got into the race lead right at the start. Oscar Singh is still there in second place. Nicolo Perico has found himself getting up the order. That's a brilliant start for Nicolo Perico, the Italian. He is up into third place already. He started P7 in this one. Priyan Bruno as well, who's just behind him, 9th place, is now in P4. And I think that might be Achilles Peruzzi as well in the 817, who's found himself in P5. No, it's not. It's the 864 who's there in P5. So that is Davide Di Filippo, the other Italian who's found himself from third place, now dropping back to P5, but still a strong start there. Atika Mir as well, you can just see, trying to push her way through this field as they cross the line. Hand gestures coming in then for the drivers. Let's take you through that full lineup then. Oh dear, it's been a really bad opening lap for some drivers. Nikita Janilov, unfortunately, has tumbled down to 22nd at the start of that one. That is a really not a great start here, as we are 3 wide, and that is, I think, Nikita Janilov there trying to push his way back through the field there. The 863 being squeezed off the circuit. But here at the front, though, there goes Nicolo Perico, I should say, sorry, down the inside into second place now. Has got past Oscar Singh and has put himself now into that P2 position. So it's Albert Tam who leads from Nicolo Perico, Oscar Singh from Priam Bruno in P4, Davide Di Filippo from Krajkovic, then it's Capella from Lawrence, Brajot from Lomets, Atika Mir in 11th place from Daniela Verba, and Augustine Felagoni rounding out the top 13 on this opening stage of the race. Drivers across the line then, the juniors from their race have just finished. They are watching on from the pit lane here. And you can see these drivers putting in the work in the Mini 60 category. Now, whole field at this moment is only separated by 9 seconds, showing how competitive the field is for those top 25 runners, as Perico sets the fastest lap of the race now, 101.999. And there you can see Perico is closing in on Albert Tam. He is not out of the woods yet. Now, Perico did take a qualifying heat win yesterday in that second qualifying heat. But looking today to see if we can start the day with P1. There's a look at the results from Albert Tam over the course of this season. And like you say, up and down ones with the DNF in Dubai, but got that win in a lane at the previous round for Albert Tam and delivered some really strong results over the course of this season for the driver from Switzerland. But Albert Tam also claimed that round win in Valencia, of course. So 2 final wins for him. Just missed out on the final yesterday. Not taking that top spot, but here, Perico, once again, another fastest lap of the race, goes about 2/10 faster than his previous lap, is just keeping Oscar Singh at bay right now. And Priam Bruno in P4, waiting there to pick up the pieces right now. He's in a good, strong spot there, P4 for the title leader. Again, he just needs to keep this momentum up and focus on just claiming these positions for Priam Bruno. There is a look at Perico's results over the course of this season. Current stats for this race: started 7th, currently 2nd. Superb drive in this race as we go on to lap 5 of 7. Up 5 positions right now. He's looking to make that a P1. There's a look at his results as well. That win in Dubai for Perico. A very strong performance for him there. Perico actually 3rd in the standings, leading the standings in the Mini Under 10 as well. Perico only taking that win the last time out here. So he's again looking to see if he can try and capitalise over the course of this racing. Atika Mir now goes for the fastest lap of the race. The young female driver who qualified P4, currently running in 14th place. Unfortunately, he's dropped down 10 in this race. But with the 101.662, pace is very, very strong in a race scenario. Eyes on these top 3, though. No changes for the runners. And again, Priam Bruno continues to just be there in P4. He's hanging back a little bit. He's not dropping back, but he's just consistently holding that position in P4. We're lap 6 now of 7. Last lap board will be out to the drivers this time. They come towards the start-finish line. And still, just watching the racing line here through Forsan. Such a technical circuit as Bruno puts in that fastest lap of the race. We'll start to, I think, pile on this pressure come that final lap. But all 4 of these drivers doing a brilliant job. Oscar Singh really impressing me here. a fabulous qualifying this morning, putting it on pole position. His first pole of the season, and his pace showing that it wasn't just a fluke in TQ. His pace in the race here has been superb. Well, no change still between these top four. They stay line astern. Capella's still there in P5 from Brajot, Davide Di Filippo from Karajkovic, Lomets and Peruzzi still in that top 10. Last lap board then comes out to the drivers. This is where we should see those defensive lines come into play. But where will they go defensive? Well, the first corner here, turn 3, that's where it'll go defensive, hugging that inside line for Albert Tam. Perico Singh and Bruno all follow that inside line. No changes here. Bit of a kick on that rear bumper there. All the top 3 going wide. And now Priyan Bruno trying to go for the move around the outside here. It's not going to work out for him. Stays in P4. Jalilov sets the fastest lap of the race, but he's already down the order in P16. Eyes will focus on these drivers on this last lap. There you can see Priyan Bruno trying to take the long way round there, right on the outside for Oscar Singh. He attempted that one, but I think he remembered the rule that they were told in the driver's briefing to not carry it all the way around the outside. But this is a brilliant drive here. Down the inside, Priyan Bruno, he goes for it, he gets the third, but Albert Tam starts his day well. Second in the title fight, takes the first win of the day. He matches his result from yesterday, and he finishes in P1. Perico finishes in second place from Priyan Bruno right at the end of that one, just getting up into third place. Well, Oscar Singh finishes in P4, still a superb result for Oscar Singh. The driver from Australia certainly delivering, but it is Switzerland on top in the first race of the day for Mini 60. They will make their way back to Parc Fermé. Of course, we'll all get checked out. So yesterday's first race was Tam, Peruzzi and Capella. Today's first race, once again, is Tam, but now Perico and Bruno. 1, 2, 3. Well, they will make their way back in. Here's a look at the full results at the end of that one. The top 4, 5 we've gone over. Capella, Davide Di Filippo from Karajkovic. Peruzzi finishes in P8 from Matis Brajot. Felagoni from Mir. Lomets from Dalalov. And it's Kallenberg from Zucchetto. The top 15, biggest mover in the top 15. You have to look to 14th place. Ari Kallenberg, 5 places gained. Koda Singh finishes in P16. Then ahead of Ava Lawrence, Francesco Lizignoli gains 4 places, finishes in P18 ahead of Stamberg. Gardzielik, Kers from Mason. Then it's Constantinu, Desani Jr. from Salamanca. Ventnor from Zanfari. Daniela from Mucho, who rounds out the 29 runners. And once again, looked like all drivers did finish, maybe apart from Suleiman Mucho, the Moroccan, I think, may have retired on that last lap. There, though, is Albert Tam of Switzerland, and he can be delighted with that result. A very strong day yesterday turns into a very strong start of today as well. Let's have a look at the highlights on that one. You can all see, got that lead from the word go right on the outside there of turn number 1 and 2, and a beautiful start to his race. Managed to carry the speed through turn 1 and kept that car alongside all the way throughout, and just pushes his way through the order and held on to that lead for the majority of it. There you can see the rest of the drivers just struggling with track position. Perico, brilliant start to his race, was up to 3rd place in the opening stages. This is how Janilov found himself going backwards in the order. He had a really tough race. There was Karajkovic pushing himself through as well. 3 wide on the exit of turn number 4. Showcasing the drivers were not wanting to give up any position. You can see mechanics, some with elation, some with a little bit of frustration at the start of this race, with drivers just putting themselves in vulnerable positions there to the inside. Oscar Singh would try and hold on to that position, would not claim it though. Nicolo Perico would hold on to 2nd place there though. Priyan Bruno would get down the inside into 3rd place. But Albert Tam matches that result from yesterday puts it P1 again today from Perico and Priam Bruno. 1, 2, 3 in the first Mini 60 race. Well, they'll be back out later on today, and once more we will turn our attention to the senior category. They will be coming out next. There was a very quick turnover for them in the seniors as they were coming out, coming off the track. We were going live with the racing, and a very, very strong performance, though, still in the senior category, which is coming up next. Reminder of yesterday's results. Time qualifying, it was Daniel Kelleher on pole position, but that today has changed because it is the current champion this season. The title winner yesterday, Luna Flusha of Spain, finds herself putting it on pole position as she looks for another perfect scoring weekend here. The Spaniard starting on pole position, but she, the title winner at the end of this season. Certainly a very strong performance, but also as well from other drivers around. Hamza Al-Fayez on the front row, a superb qualifying for the Jordanian. Hamza Al-Fayez putting it P2 in time qualifying. I believe his best qualifying result of the season, and there he is, lining himself up ready on that front row. Really looking forward to seeing what this driver can do from the country of Jordan, and gets himself seated, focused on this one. A superb qualifying for him and the rest, of course. Markus Šilkunis from Lithuania, older brother of Vanessa Šilkunis, who is racing in the senior category, starting this on the second row of the grid. Daniel Kelleher as well, yesterday's pole sitter, and 2 qualifying heat winners. Starts this one on that second row of the grid. We're moments away from getting this one started. This race is due to start at 12 o'clock on the dot, so we are a couple of minutes away from that one. So good to see we are on time. There, Markus Šilkunis in that 2:44. A look at his results over the course of the season. And he took that first win in Valencia. Second to this young lady here. And Luna Flusha. The weight is off her shoulders right now. There is Luna's mum watching overhead. And she, of course, chatting with the team that is backing her in her young career. And the Mercedes team providing lots of support for Luna Flusha over the course of her season. There in the background, you can see the Williams junior driver, Sara Matsui of Japan, who took pole position out in a lane. Finds herself, though, a little further down in the order in this one. Unfortunately, qualifying for her this weekend just didn't go her way. She'll be starting this one P16 on track. Well, still plenty of people watching alongside for these drivers, and you can see the tension starting to build just a little bit ahead of this first race. Some new drivers up at the sharp end here, some drivers with a much better qualifying as well at the end of this one. Austin Gale with a good qualifying, starting this one on the third row of the grid. Sky Parker as well from Wales in the United Kingdom has put it P9 in qualifying, starting on that fifth row of the grid. She has consistently got faster when we first saw her out in Dubai. It was her first time in Dubai, first time in a lane, first time here at Forsan for Sky Parker. She's certainly shown some incredible pace, despite these tracks all being unfamiliar to her. Sixth row of the grid sees Isaac Say of Singapore and Ghazi Motlaka from Mozambique. And Ghazi Motlaka again, he was very confident yesterday, was saying, I'm going to do everything I can. Put that kart to the front. Let's see if we can do that today here as he starts it on the sixth row of the grid. Well, engines start to fire up. Let's take you through that full starting lineup then as the drivers slowly make their way onto the circuit. It's Luna Flusha and Hamza Al-Fayez on row number 1, Markus Šilkunis and Daniel Kelleher on row 2, Hugo Heron and Austin Gale round out row number 3. Gale, who found himself on the podium yesterday. Franciszek Zielinski and Philippe Karras go from row 4. They'll have Sky Parker and Adam Sador on row number 5. Isaac Say and Ghazi Motlaka on row number 6. Mohamed Menemni, the final winner from Dubai in the second final of their weekend, starts alongside fellow countryman Alessandro Biggi on row 7. Maximilian Rafalik and Sarabat Soy go from row 8. They'll have Jean Carris and Sebastian Korpeng on row number 9. Charles Lambert and Gianna Pascal round out the top 20. They go from row 10. They'll have Charlotte Page and Sophia Sanfari on row 11. Louis Hartmann and Anastasia Genesis on row 12. Julian Pope and Plix Trevino on row 13. They'll have Izoleta Kozlova and Yana Kapoor on row 14. The 30 kart field is rounded out by Ryan Caruz and Cole Hewitson, who unfortunately didn't have a good qualifying over the course of this morning's sessions. There was a bit of a delay to that qualifying, but the team behind the scenes working frantically hard, got the drivers out, and we still remain on time here. So great work by the officials over the course of this weekend. And of course, all of the track staff here at the Forsan International Sports Resort. Second time the Champions of the Future Academy program has been here. The first time was the inaugural round of the championship back in November of last year. And again here in December, right at the end of the season. Of course, all of these drivers, a lot of them from Europe, racing in cold conditions there. Smiles for Martin Bean ahead of this first qualifying heat for the seniors. Question is, are we going to get a clean start? First time of asking. The answer to that is yes. Lights are out. We are racing down in towards turn number 1. It's a good start for the outside row there. Brilliant start for Hamza Al-Fayez. There's some cars getting caught out in the background there, and there you can see the 239 who's had a really not great start. That's Alessandro Biggi, unfortunately, right to the back of the field. He had a half spin there, but thankfully he kept it going. At the front though, Hamza Al-Fayez leads the way. Luna Flusha was a bit squirrely under braking there in towards turn number 1, but she was trying to hold off from that inside row with the drivers starting behind her. Of course, she kept off Marcus Shilkunis. Hugo had on there as well. There's Sky Parker just coming through the shot. You can see in the green and pink helmet just coming through. But everyone else with a really strong start there. But it's Hamza Al-Fayez who leads the way from Luna Flusha at this moment in time. There you can still see Marcus Shilkunis in third place, head on, holding on right now to P4 as Shilkunis is going to look to the inside at turn 16. It's not going to work out for him. Stays in P3 and across the line they go. It is Hamza Al-Fayez from Flusha, Shilkunis from Kelleher. Head on is in P5 from Gale, Sajeleski from Motlaka. Ghazi Motlaka, 4 places gained in this opening lap. He's up into P8, and he is closing in on the driver from Poland just ahead. Philippe Karras, Sky Parker, rounding out the top 10. At the moment, biggest mover, though, in this race. You look further down, Elizaveta Kozlova has gained 8 places on this opening lap, and she is up inside the top 20 in P19. Here, though, are the current stats for your front runners. 1 place gained, 1 place dropped. The Jordanian Hamza Al-Fayez and the Spaniard Luna Flusha line astern here. But Marcus Shilkunis continues to pressure the rear bumper of Flusha. And the same is under pressure from Daniel Keller in P4. Head on, though, has got up into P4 now. Austin Gale has got through. And Keller has gone down to 6th place now as they next cross the timing beam. But this is a close battle here. Hamza Al-Fayez has not been able to break away as there. Drama for the rest of them. And who has gone off the track there? We can see, is that, I'm trying to go work that out. I can't quite see the number on the carts, but they're tumbling down the order here. I think Ryan Caruz was the driver that we saw there just walking away. Elizaveta Kozlova's kart is stricken at the side of the circuit there as well. And I think the 218 of Charlotte Page's kart also out of the race there. Well, that is Ryan Caruz, unfortunately, just walking away from the kart. So there are karts stricken all over the circuit here now. Yellow flags out in that final sector. But so many drivers out in that opening lap then. So down to just the 26 runners in this race. And we still stay focused at the front here. Hamza Al-Fayez continues to hold on to this lead. But the fight is very close here. Big hit of that curb. You've got to be so careful here as Flusha's going to look to the inside now at turn number 8. Nicely done down the inside. Flusha puts herself on the front spot here, but loses out on it once again. Hamza Al-Fayez back in the lead. These two are exchanging places now. This is keeping everyone closely riled in. But these drivers here, so close. But let's see what happens now. Well, Ghazi Motlaka as well there in 9th place. Really pushing his way through on this one. He was 8th. He's dropped down 1 spot on this, but he's still inside that top 10 as a warning flag has gone out to Isaac Say. So he needs to be careful, Isaac Say. Otherwise, he might find himself in a real sticky situation here as Shilkunis there is in a sticky situation, though, here as down the inside, Hugo Heron has found himself up into 3rd place. Gale's got himself in a good position as well now. But Gale finds himself still running in that top 5. Shilkunis splitting the two of them apart here. Eyes will stay on these two. Flusha not able to find her way past fully just yet. We're on lap 5 of 12. Keep an eye on this field here. Still those big movers in the further down the order. Julian Pope up 6 places. And obviously a fair few of these drivers unfortunately out of the race. Eyes focusing on these top 2. There's the gap between the two of them. It's absolutely nothing. 0.2 of a second between these top 2. And for Hamza Al-Fayez so far this season, well, we've not seen much of him right up at the sharp end of the order. And Hamza Al-Fayez in the standings, well, as quite a far down in the order. He doesn't find himself in that top section. We see him racing in the Middle East. He's certainly delivered some good results over the course of this season, but finds himself now fighting at the front here and still looking very competitive right now. Flusha still there. Head on. Shilkunis now started to work together a little bit here. They try to close in on those top 2. He end lap number 6. On to lap 7 now of 12. Still Austin Gale. You can see him there just behind in the background. Behind Shilkunis. He will have Kelleher for pressure as well. This was the moments here for Flusha across that curb. Big hit of that first curb there in towards turn number 5 and 6. A very fast chicane there. The drivers try to carry as much speed as they can. Flusha very wide there, the exit of turn number 9. Again, you can just see there, she's just trying to carry more momentum through the corner. But she's not managed to find a way past Al-Fayez just yet. Continues to lead it. Big lunge down the inside. There it is from Luna Flusha out of nowhere. The speed came to her and she found her way through. And now Luna Flusha takes the lead of this one. However, Hamza Al-Fayez did manage to get that move back past in the early stage. Can he do it again here? The driver who started on the front row has got the pace and he is going to fight it back down the inside through turn number 7. Retakes the lead. Flusha's going to fight it back now. Here comes Hugo Heron down the inside. Fayez gets squeezed out wide. He's going to lose out on 2nd. Now 3rd place as Heron gets through. And it's all kicking off here now between these drivers. Shilkunis, I think, has got himself up into 2nd place now, but now he's under pressure from Heron. Hamza Al-Fayez, you can see him there now. He's in P4. Austin Gale's on that rear bumper. But this is released. Flusha now in the front. Luna Flusha is breaking away from the rest of the field. The gap is 0.4 of a second from Shilkunis. Head on is there as well. Another 0.4 behind. Hamza Al-Fayez now retakes that 3rd place. Finds the gap through the inside of Hugo Heron at turn number 4. In towards the chicane, through the hairpin of 7, down the hill they go. No change at this point, but Hamza Al-Fayez back up into 3rd place. can try and focus in closing in on Shilkunas, who is breaking away now. There is a substantial gap between these two, and that just shows how close it is in terms of the pace here. Shows how quickly it can all be affected here through these chicanes. And so many overtaking opportunities around this track. It's so difficult for a driver to defend a position. You see how wide the circuit is there on the start-finish line. Tightens, though, as it gets into this top section. The track averaging around an 8-meter width around the entire circuit. These drivers looking so competitive right now. And Shilkunas has just set that fastest lap of the race. 0.3 of a second is the gap between Shilkunas and Flusha. These two at the start of the season were constant title rivals, and they have certainly delivered over the course of this season. And right now, we get to see these two battle away again in a qualifying heat. But Hamza Al-Fayez controlling this second pack now. Head-on has not been able to find a way through just yet. Watch him again. It's that tighter line into that final chicane. Carries the speed, and again, you do need to be a bit careful with these sort of defensive lines and holding these tighter lines. It's a relatively smooth tarmac here, but there are moments where it is quite coarse on the runoff. The curves are quite rough as well in the runoff area there, as, oh dear, that is Franciszek Zielinski, unfortunately, out of the race. He tried to get that restarted there. I think it's stuck in a part of the circuit, and unfortunately, the driver from Poland is out. He becomes the latest retirement. Isaac Sayers also retired in this race. So Anastasia Genesis has got herself back into P24, where she originally started. But eyes maintain focus on these top three positions. Hamza Al-Fayez continues to hold on to P3. We go on to the final lap. And Luna Flusha once again has pushed her way through. Here's the lead change. Well, I can't hear the message there from race control, but I suspect saying all clean and fine for those front runners. And Luna Flusha, just that big move down the inside into that final chicane. Now, we have said over the start of this weekend that it is a popular overtaking opportunity, and Flusha showcasing there that it is. Maximum Rafalik, the latest driver to see a warning flag in this one. But with the last lap board out, Luna Flusha is just looking to take it to the line now. She didn't need to race today. She's already won that title in 2024. But today, she will start the day in fine form. The Spaniard claims the first win of the weekend. She adds it to her tally of qualifying heat wins and takes that win ahead of Marcus Shilkunas. Hamza Al-Fayez from the front row does finish in P3 ahead of Hugo Heron and Austin Gale. Daniel Kelleher from Philippe Carras, Jean Carras finishing in P8. The two brothers once again having a strong performance in this one. Maximum Rafalik and Mohamed Menemni finishing in the top 10 from Ghazi Motlaka. Sky Parker, Sebastian Corpeng up 5 places into 13th from Adam Sador and Charles Lambert, who gained 4 places to finish in that top 15. 16th place downwards, though, sees Gianna Pascal gaining 4 places, finishing in P16. Then it's Sana Matsui in 17th from Alessandro Biggie, Prixtavino from Julian Pope, Sophia Sanfari from Louis Hartmann, Yana Kapoor, and Anastasia Genesis running at the top 24. The retirements, unfortunately, Zielinski, Isaac Say, Page, Kozlova, and Karuz, who ran out the retirement in that one. There is Charlotte Page from Australia, one of the multiple Discover Your Drive Initiative drivers. There is Luna Flusha, the other one of those drivers. It's a drastically different race result for the two of them. One retiring, one claiming the qualifying heat win. And as you can imagine, still just getting the words of encouragement there, just saying, right, this is what we need to do for the next one to make sure that we can get that result again. But just for Luna Flusha, been an absolute dominant season here, and like you say, did not need to race today Just found ourselves doing so anyway. There was the, well, Francis Jeksijewski's kart, and no heavy damage there, but a lot of debris on those tyres. They will need to get cleaned off before that next race later on. And there you can see, yeah, still instructions coming in thick and fast. Yes, okay, you may have won the title, but you're still racing. There's still lots to learn in your career. And of course, it all falls down. It all starts here in the world of karting for so many drivers. Nearly, well, I would say probably 100% of the Formula One grid all started in the world of karting. Here is the start of that race, and you can just see there, Flusha, a little bit cautious under braking there, was sideways. Of course, that looked like it had a bit of contact from Marcus Shilkunas from behind. That gave Hamza Al-Fayez the lead of the race, as everyone just started to fight for position in the background. There was a fair few changes there from Shilkunas, Daniel Kelleher as well. We didn't see much of Kelleher in that race. He was in P6, but the results of the pole sitter from yesterday and the double heat winner, they just not going his way. You can see that support coming in, and there the retirement's coming in thick and fast. And there's Jelisky, Isaac Say, Charlotte Page, Elisa Vetskoslova, and Rienne Keyrouz, all in the end of that race, all retiring. This was the moment that the lead did change. Flusha to the inside of turn number 8, but Hamza Al-Fayez carrying the pace through turn 9. That was the lead change, and that's how she secured it. Luna Flusha holding on to the race lead all the way to the end of that one. Another angle of it through that chicane. How close it was, but a brilliant drive nonetheless, despite the hitting of the curbs. This was another attempt from Hamza Al-Fayez just down the inside, but Flusha would retaliate instantly back through turn 8. And this is where Hamza Al-Fayez went backwards, and there Marcus Shilkunas getting through into second place in that early stage. Same for Hamza Al-Fayez, dropping down to 4th place, but would get back past Hugo head-on. But out of the final corner, nothing could be done to catch up to Luna Flusha. She claims her first win of the day in the qualifying heats. The final winner from yesterday, and this year's 2024 title winner in the Academy program, starts the day very, very strong. Well, that brings us to the end of the first round of qualifying heats. We will take a short pause in proceedings, and in around 40 minutes' time, we will be back for the second round of qualifying heats. That'll be starting with juniors, back to minis and seniors, before we go into the lunch break ahead of the finals, starting with, once again, juniors, minis and seniors. They'll be starting at 3 o'clock local time. We will see you in 40 minutes' time then for the second day of racing at the Forsan circuit for the Champions of the Future Academy Program, round number 6. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of day 2 of the Champions of the Future Academy program, live here from the Forsan International Sports Resort in the United Arab Emirates. Myself, Anthony Jordan, in the commentary box to take you through the rest of the qualifying heats, 3 that are coming up before we go into the lunch break and the finals that will be coming up later on today, starting at 3 o'clock. But the OKN Junior qualifying heat 2. That is what is coming up next. 9 laps at an 11-kilometer race distance. They've already had a very busy first qualifying heat for the juniors, with Anagnosiadis taking that qualifying heat win ahead of Conor Clancy. And third place, William Marshall, who started that race P7 on the grid. A very impressive drive into that top 3 for the driver from South Africa. But there you can see the drivers starting to get themselves race ready for this one. Veer Chopra just giving a few words of encouragement there. Ahead of this one, Veer Chopra starting on the 12th place spot on the grid. On row number 6. There was Conor Clancy just getting himself sorted out. Axel Nocom as well joining him on the front row of that grid. But that front row locked out in a, well, very interesting situation. Axel Nocom in that first race, unfortunately the driver, the 21, dropping down to P6. But still remaining inside that top 10 for the driver from the Philippines. We've already mentioned Anagnosiadis taking that race win. You can see him there in the number 36. Still race suit not on yet, and helmet not on. So he is feeling very relaxed right now. Nathan Kappen joining him on that front row as well. Very strong result for him. But there on your screen is Axel Nocom of the Philippines. Like you say, P6 for him in that first race earlier on today. Very competitive drive. But just at the start, struggled to get that kart on the inside line through turn number 1. It is a very, very challenging turn 1 here at the Forsan circuit. Quite tight into the entry, and it's not easy to just get that run on the inside line. But everyone else looking ready to go for this one. There is Diniya Islamov, and see their balaclava is on. Helmet going on now. P9 for Diniya Islamov earlier on. There is, well, Nathan Kappen just coming straight into the middle of our shot, getting seated in his wagon. P4 for him earlier on. Really strong drive there, and there is everyone primed and ready for this one. There is the Austin and Toby Gale's dad there in a very striking bucket hat there, which is good to see. There, James Anagnosiadis, the Australian title contender. All he needs to do is finish his races today, and he will stand on that podium at the end of today, not only if he wins the race, of course, not only as a final winner once more, but also as the title winner, the driver of the year in the junior category. There is our race director, Martin Bean. He's currently chatting with one of our stewards, Chris Lambret, from Belgium, but both of them there having a quick discussion ahead of this one. And it's been a relatively calm weekend, I would say, for a lot of the stewards. They've had a bit of work to deal with, of course, as you would in every other race weekend. But these drivers certainly delivering some competitive, close, but yet clean racing. And that has also meant that our budding volunteers out there on the circuit, the marshals, have had a pretty relaxing weekend as well. They've focused, they've still worked hard, they've helped out the drivers where they can, making sure the track is in perfect working order ahead of these races. And again, we could not go racing without the hard-working marshals out on circuit. James Anagnosiadis getting a last few words of encouragement there ahead of this one. He won that first race earlier on from that very same position. One would suggest it's just a case of carbon copy and do it again here in this second heat, but that's easier said than done. But the only benefit that he's got is that he is on that inside line going in towards turn number 1, right behind Conor Clancy. As long as Clancy gets the good run in towards turn 1, he should be all fine and clear. Right then, whistle blows, engines fire up, drivers make their way out onto the circuit. So let's take you through that full starting lineup. It will be exactly the same as what it was earlier on, of course, from the results in time qualifying this morning. gives us our grids for these races. Connor Clancy and Axel Nocom on row number 1. James Anagnosiadis and Nathan Capin on row 2. Vanessa Shilkaneta and Dinia Islamov going from row number 3. William Marshall and Nicholas Stanley on row 4. Egon Pedrotti and Didier Krieft on row number 5. Mateus Witwer and Veer Chopra on row 6. Zachariah Dole and Leonidas Peruzzi on row 7. Ella Hakkinen and Aryan Singh on row 8. Mrs. Jain and Amelia Vishamirska on row number 9. Case Aziza and Maxim Bobrozov, they round out the top 20 on row 10. Oscar Gallin and Xavier Dudkovsky go from row 11. Victoria Farfus and Jan Michalesco on row 12. And have Marcel Scapella and Enia Pizzuto on row 13. Angelina Simmons and Corinne Kaur on row 14. You'll have Sanjana Dandu and Vera Yuland on row 15. Jacob Woods, Sujana Dandu, Toby Gale and Casper Reipold will round out the 34 kart grid. There's a look at the qualifying heats, intermediate points at the moment. Of course, Anagnosiadis with that win. He has got the 50 points from Connor Clancy. William Marshall with the 41 points from Nathan Capin. Vanessa Shilkaneta and Axel Nocom. They are their points, of course. They will get accumulated with the points that they will gather at the end of this race. That will determine who will be starting on pole position for that final later on today. There's a look at the track and air conditions. We're 21 degrees. But the sun is beaming down on us here and the driver is saying that it feels hotter than yesterday. But a perfectly dry circuit here at the Forsan International Sports Resort karting circuit as the drivers prime themselves ready to go here. Of course, drivers will always have to contend with a little bit of dust over the course of this one. It is pretty sandy off the racing line here. Of course, understandable. In the United Arab Emirates. All of it, you drive 5 minutes out of the city and you're in the sand dunes. Here we go then, into the tram lines. We are racing, lights are out and it's a good start from the front row. It's a great start. This time for Axel Nocom, but did he survive it through turn number 1? The 27 is off and out of this race. That's Dinia Islamov. The front runners having a really shaky start there, and there's the 16 as well, Connor Clancy. The pole sitter out of the second race. The driver who finished second earlier today will now suffer going into that final. He will have to start it from much further down, and that is not the start they will have wanted at all. Dinia Islamov as well was the other involved in that incident. So where are the rest of them? Now that looks like Nocom in the lead of this race. Anagnosiadis in second place. Now the karts have been put to a place of relative safety there. As the yellow flag's clear, we continue under green flag conditions in towards turn number 1, and there you can see the mechanics and the hand signals start from a very young age there from the sidelines, even for the junior drivers here. Marshall going wheel to wheel there with the likes of Vanessa Shilkaneta, and Marshall holding on to third place now. But the young female driver from Lithuania is certainly piling on the pressure. A really strong result earlier on, a P5 for Vanessa, and she's dealing with the stress of this situation perfectly. Pressure from behind. Didier Krieft is there. But eyes at the moment, it's Axel Nocom who leads the way, but now he will have to deal with the driver from Australia closing in behind. Anagnosiadis right there on that rear bumper. He will check behind him. I will surely think Axel Nocom has a big look over the shoulder there just to see the situation. And again, we will always see that from drivers who are relatively new from being at the sharp end. That is no disrespect to Nocom at all. He's a very talented young driver, a very competitive driver. He leaves the door open there, and Anagnosiadis goes through. We were just saying, a driver who checks over their shoulder a lot more than others usually is a sign of where they will end up. And unfortunately, just through that final sector, Anagnosiadis just had the pace there to get through. Now, can Nocom stick with Anagnosiadis? Got a quick driver in front of him now that can certainly benefit him in learning his way around this circuit ahead of that final later on. In Axel Nocom with a P6 earlier on, and a win right now puts him in a really strong position. But Anagnosiadis, with the win earlier on, and now in the lead of this, is looking at maximum points to his name. He's going to claim another 25 series points at the end of this one if he stays in P1. And that will certainly help his title fight out as he heads into the final later on. But all he needed to do was race today, and he knew he would get to the end of the day. For James Anagnosiadis, it is all down to him, and unfortunately for Conor Clancy, who, when we spoke to him this morning, saying that, yeah, you know, I'm second in that title fight. I'm fighting with Reipold as there's more drama on circuit. And they're out of the race. That looks like the 49 is going no further in this one. Unfortunately, a lot of discomfort for another. And we'll try and get the numbers now. I didn't quite see the numbers as they went through. I think potentially could have been Corinne Kaur and Vera Jurland. The 49 and the 22, they're the next drivers who have not clocked up through the field. And yeah, that is Corinne Kaur. Unfortunately, the driver from Singapore just being escorted out of the way, and hopefully Vera Jurland is okay there. She was holding her arm just a little bit, the driver of the number 22. And hopefully all is okay then. Well, there's more drama. Oh dear, the number 30's off the track. That's Marcel Capella again, has had drama here at Forsan. It was a torrid day yesterday for the driver from Poland, and once again finds himself in the gravel. It looks like he's beached on that curb there, and that is a very treacherous place to be right now, so hopefully the marshals can clear that quickly before this field heads through. Anagnosiadis then still maintains that lead. Clear by 7/10 of a second here, but Axel Nocom now is starting to get under pressure from William Marshall. A very, very diverse group of nations here, all fighting at the front end. You've got Australia leading the Philippines. You've got South Africa from Lithuania, Italy from the United Arab Emirates, the Netherlands from Czechia, all in the top 7. And under investigation is Vera Jurland, the driver from Sweden, who is out of this race. And obviously there was an incident there, and they're going to have to find out who was at fault for said incident. So already down to just 29 runners in this for retirements in the early stages. He's focused on this fight though. The gap has closed down a little bit at the front here. Nocom with the pressure from Marshall behind. It's just egging him along a little bit here, but this will change it. Down the inside, William Marshall gets through into second place, and he claims that position as quickly as you like. A very popular overtaking opportunity is turn 16. It's becoming more and more popular now with the drivers. You can carry the speed through 14 and 15. You've got a small straight between that and the next chicane. Comes up thick and fast, and big hit of the curbs there once more for Nocom. Just trying to carry that speed through the chicane. Stick with Marshall right now, and still a P3 is a very strong result. But there behind, Vanessa Shilcaneta and Egon Pedrotti are all closing in here. Chopra is still there in 6th. Didier Kreeft in 7th. Didier Kreeft, a very good drive this time around, suffered a 23rd place in that first race, and looking for a much better result this time around. For Kreeft, and is certainly delivering that result right now. Over the line, we go on to lap 8 now, penultimate lap of this race. Last lap board will be out to the field, and Anagnosiadis looking to claim even more series points. Well, let's see what happens at the end of this one. Anagnosiadis from Marshall, Nocom, Shilcanete, Pedrotti, Chopra, Kreeft now with the fastest lap of the race. Vitva from Stanley, Zachariah Dole from Kesa Jan Michalewsko running out the top 12. Ella Hakkinen there in 13th place from Kasper Reipold. This is good from Reipold. He had a pretty terrible qualifying. 20 places gained for Kasper Reipold. But let's see what he can do in this one. There, some of the stats. James Anagnosiadis, who's leading this one, was picked at this very circuit last year in the inaugural round, the inaugural starting of this championship, and he put himself right at the sharp end and got picked by the Mercedes team. There is Yuland chatting with, I think that's the medical teams there she's chatting with there, and I think she's just describing the injuries that she's feeling there, because you can see she was holding her arm a little bit after that incident. Of course, medical teams will make sure she is okay. Here, though, on this final lap, Anagnostiadis, like you saw from the stat there, picked by the Mercedes Young Driver Development Program at the back end of last year. He has excelled over the 2024 season, progressing more and more. And in this season, in the Academy program, has delivered what he's need to. He's got his final later on today, but right now, he is looking dominant to claim an extra 25 title points to his name. Anagnostiadis crosses the line, wins 2 qualifying heats out of 2. He is looking for a perfect score today. Marshall finishes in 2nd place from Axel Nocom. A very strong drive for the top 3. Vanessa Schilkeneta improves her position from earlier on. P5 to P4. Puts herself 4th place for that final later on today. Prodrotti from Chopra in the order from that one. And they finish 5th and 6th here. They will start 5th and 6th in that final as well. Krieft and Witwer, the top 8 from Stanley and Case-Aziza. 9 places gained to finish in the top 10. 11th place, Zachariah Dolo with a gain of 2. Miskalesko with 12 places gained, finishing in P12. Reipold, 21 places gained to finish P13. From Ella Hakkinen in 14th place. Leonidas Peruzzi finishes in P15. Mitans Jain from Angelina Simmons. Nathan Cappin from Toby Gale. Gale gaining the 14 places from the back of the field. P19 from Maxim Bobajov rounds out the top 21 drivers. Oscar Gallin rounds out the top 20. Farfus from Woods, Sujana Dandu from Dukowski, Vishamirska Pazuto, Sanjana Dandu, and the retirements, I believe Aryan Singh out of the race as well. From Asghar Capella, Karine Kaur, Vera Yurland was another from the rest of the field as well. Connor Clancy, that is a shock retirement there for Clancy, as well as Dinia Islamov at the end of that race. And well, their race ended at the start of that race at turn number 1. Big shame for them. But there, your man, James Anagnostiadis from Australia, at the end of today, is looking to be crowned the Driver of the Year in the junior category. Well, the highlights will come very soon. These are the highlights from the senior race earlier on that we are seeing there. Junior race, though, a very dramatic start to their race nonetheless. But the beginning of that one just not go the way of Connor Clancy at all. The same as Dinia Islamov, unfortunately. Not sure what happened between those 2 drivers. So Clancy on the inside. Here comes Nocom on the outside. Does he just chop across the front nose? Oh, he does a little bit. And unfortunately for Dinia Islamov, just clips the rear bumper of Clancy. But Nocom right round the outside there. Well, he would have given enough racing room. He wouldn't have been able to go for the apex there because, while Clancy was there, I think Clancy with a mixture of a lot of inside curb and just nowhere to go on the exit, just put him into a spin. And a very unfortunate incident there at turn number 1. Well, the race continuing at that point. Marshall's doing a great job to clear the circuit of any carts and debris, as the budding young team bosses there, I'm sure, just showing the drivers how and what they need to do on that race. Anagnostiadis then, there was the lead change through turn 3. Got into the front as later on, I'm sure, unfortunately, Veer Chopra and there, Vera Yurland out of the race. Later, Marcel Zapella also out of the race. A frustration for the driver from Poland. It's just not been his weekend. He's had a string of disasters over the course of these qualifying heats. The crucial thing is he stayed strong and he's kept his momentum going in this one. There, Vera Yurland just chatting with the medical staff here at the circuit. I'm sure just trying to explain how she was feeling after that incident. You can see her holding her arm, but there across the line, brilliant drive from James Anagnosianis. 2 wins out of 2, starts on pole position for that final later on today. Make sure you don't miss that one. That'll be starting at 3 o'clock local time here in Abu Dhabi. But we'll turn our attention now very quickly on to the Mini 60 category. That will be heading out onto the circuit next. And again, a very, very busy first qualifying heat for them. Big moves all the way throughout. But the man who starts on the front row of the grid, Albert Tam, came away with that first qualifying heat win. There, your pole sitter from this morning, Oscar Singh of Australia. Brilliant qualifying for him. His first pole position of the season. The driver of the 815 had a good, strong race as well. Did drop positions, still finished inside the top 5 with a P4. But again now, just needs to focus and look ahead in this race. Try and break away with the drivers around. Nicolo Perico from Italy was the driver who finished in second position earlier on. A really strong start to his race. He started it in P7, managed to push his way through. There is some of the support out there for the man starting on the front row of the grid. Albert Tam from Switzerland, with that win earlier on, is looking to make sure he can hold on to that second in the championship standings. Now, he said to us at the start of this weekend he would need to win absolutely everything this weekend. Unfortunately, that has not been the case for Albert Tam. But certainly, he has been a driver worth looking at over the course of this season. Delivered some really strong results. Albert Tam in the final earlier on yesterday was a drop of 4 places from pole position. Unfortunately, the driver for Switzerland finishing that final off the podium in P5. There was another surprise name to find himself at the top of the list. The Italian Davide Di Filippo. Brilliant qualifying for him. Caught up with him after time qualifying. He had good words to say. And yeah, we caught up with him as well. It was a mini of the under-10s. Here's what he had to say. Well, at the end of time qualifying for the Mini 60 category at the Forsan circuit in the sunshine here. It's a very hot day, but we've got a brand new pole sitter in the Mini under 10 category, Davide Di Filippo. Congratulations, Davide. How are you feeling ahead of today?
Yeah, today I'm very happy and of this qualifying, good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Everything is good and
Yeah.
you're happy with the results. What's the plan? Anyone you want to say thank you to?
I'm thank you on my team Baby Race and my mechanic Simone.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. Well done. We'll see you on the track.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, it was good to chat there to Davide Di Filippo, of course. Very young driver of Italian heritage, and of course him there speaking English. Great to see how that's coming along, and really impressed with these young drivers and their English speaking, of course, because for me, it's a little bit impossible to speak so many languages. I struggled to learn one, but these drivers have done an absolutely fantastic job with that, and all the meanwhile, while learning to race as well. It is brilliant to see how clever these young drivers are in such the early stages of their racing career, and we're looking forward to seeing where some of these drivers do end up in the next 10 or so years' time, where they'll be racing in the future. There, Nikita Janilov starting this one, P5 for Janilov. He didn't have the race earlier on, 13th place, unfortunately got caught out at the start of that one, but he does start this one again. On the third row of the grid, he will have Benjamin Krajkovic joining him on that front 3 rows. And like I say, Nicolo Perico, really strong result for him earlier on. Priam Bruno as well, the title leader at the moment, 3rd place in that final. And you can see him all the way back there, the 8:27 behind Nicolo Perico. He managed to find himself right up at that sharp end at the end of that first opening lap. Can he do the same in this next one? If so, he finds himself in a really strong spot. But the pressure is certainly on that young driver there. Oscar Singh in his first appearance on the front row in the Champions of the Future Academy program as the engines fire up. Mini 60 qualifying Heat 2 now makes its way out on track. Let's take you through that full starting lineup. Oscar Singh and Albert Tam going from row number 1. Davide Di Filippo and Atika Mir on row 2. Nikita Janilov and Benjamin Karajkovic on row number 3. Nicola Perico and Augustine Falagoni on row 4. They'll have Priyan Bruno and Ava Lawrence on row 5. Vincente Capella and Achilles Peruzzi go from row number 6. Matis Brajot and Koda Singh on row 7. They'll have Giovanni Desani Jr. and Martin Lomets on row 8. Daniela Berber and Lorenzo Zucchetto on row 9. They'll have Ari Kallenberg and Sebastian Kurz on row 10. Enzo Stamberg and Francesco Lizagnoli on row 11. Maddox Mason and Jan Gardzielik go from row 12. They'll have Lena Salamanca and Theodore Constantinou on row 13. Ronald Ventnor, Daoud Zanfari, Sulman Mucho and Aaron Mason would round out the next 2 rows. But Sulman Mucho finds himself all in his own. 29 drivers on that final row. And all these drivers now finishing their out lap, heading on to their formation lap. Of course, these drivers on the same tyres they've used for this morning in time qualifying. The same tyres that they've used for that first qualifying heat. And of course, going in to the final later on today, they'll be on the exact same tyres. Only 1 set per day allocated to the drivers, so they must make them last. There you can see the heat haze. It's hot today. It's showing it's around the low to mid 20s at the moment. It feels warmer than yesterday, I've got to say, but that's purely because the sun is beating down on the drivers. And there you can see the future of motorsport there, just watching alongside these Mini 60s out on circuit. And a tense moment for everyone here to find out who's going to be starting on pole position. So at the moment, Albert Tam with that 50 intermediate classification points, looking to claim some more here. See if he can push himself forward. Front of the grid is already away and over that red line. Back of the grid, just getting into formation now. Looks like it's good to go first time, but let's see how they look into the tram lines. It looks good for lights out. We get lights out. We're racing down in towards turn 1, and it's a good start for everyone. Watch Albert Tam once again on the outside line. Can he get it all the way around, or can Oscar Singh defend that first place? The answer is no, and Oscar Singh goes down to second place in that early stages. Albert Tam again from the outside line can get that sweeping line across turn number 1 and 2 and claims the lead straight away. There is Davide Di Filippo holding on to third place right now. Danilov is still there in P4. Perico still there in P5. There you can see Priyan Bruno just behind as well. Some drivers getting squeezed out onto the dusty part of the circuit there. But everyone looks like they've got through pretty cleanly, as I think we're seeing the moves there from Nikita Janilov to the inside. No, not close enough this time. He stayed there just behind. But there, Perico piling on the pressure. He is going to go for the move, though. Down the inside through turn 16. Moves up into P4 in the early stage and looks very strong right now. It's Tam from Singh, Di Filippo from Perico, Danilov from Bruno, Peruzzi from Mir, Krajkovic, Lawrence, Capella from Brajot, Falagoni, Lomets and Daniela Verba, who round out the top 15. Eyes on this one, though. Oscar Singh on the rear bumper of Albert Tam. Now, he has not let him break away here at all. He is on that rear bumper right now. A little bit wide there, though, out of turn number 8. Needs to keep that dialed in here. Still got the slipstream here as they come into the fastest part of the circuit. Flat out through turn 9. Carry so much speed there. You can see the positive camber these drivers have got there through turn number 10. They can really carry that pace through that final sector and into the final sector. But eyes on this one. The tight, twisty section here now, the never-ending chicane of turns 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Back over the start-finish straight there. You can see there how close the gaps are right now. Fastest driver out there, though, goes to Vincente Capella, who's gone purple on that last lap. 101.623, a very competitive time. That's all there. Oscar Singh looking for a little tighter line there in towards the chicane. Look further down the field here. any of the bigger movers out in this race, and there is quite a few of them. Achilles Peruzzi is the biggest mover here. 6 places gained. He's into P6 right now. As there again, the look at the stats from Albert Tam over the course of this season. Came away with some good results in the European phase. More good results as well when we were in Elaine. 5th place earlier on in the weekend. 5th place yesterday for Albert Tam. And he's looking for that final win at the end of today. Let's see if he can firstly secure that pole position. And right now he's doing so. It's very wide for both the drivers there out of the final corner. On to lap number 4 now of 7. These two are not under pressure just yet from anyone behind, as Lorenzo Cichetto on that last lap unfortunately tumbled down to 25th place. Nicolo Perico there in 3rd place is looking pretty strong here. He is lapping at the same pace right now. The gap, though, between himself and Oscar Singh is around 0.6 of a second. But he's all on his own there in 3rd place. He's not got anyone behind pushing him along. This is P4. Priam Bruno at the front of that one. Galilov in P5 from Peruzzi. Davide Filippo and Karajkovic in P8. Tikamir is still there as well in that fight. But there you can see them coming through the train of drivers. Now, one would suggest that a group like this would be faster in a situation like this if they can work together, push each other forward in the field, use that slipstream and that toe. But Peruzzi's under pressure, though, from Davide Filippo. Filippo trying to get that move done down the inside in towards turn 1. Not close enough this time. Just stays behind in that early stage. Eyes focusing, though, on these front two. Albert Tam, Oscar Singh, absolutely super glued to each other, not giving any room for maneuver. But Perico just, you can see him there, he's tucking in. He knows he's closing in on them. And that gap comes down just fractionally between the two. And as soon as these two start to maybe go just that little bit defensive on these laps, we are nearing the end of this race. He might find himself under pressure from Perico just behind. The Italian who finished 2nd place earlier on, looking to see if he could possibly claim a race win in this one. Signals coming in thick and fast. You can see there some of them saying, keep pushing. Some of them saying, you've got a big gap, don't worry. As Ari Kallenberg becomes the latest driver to become under investigation. Kallenberg currently a little further down in the order, but still all 29 drivers rotating around the circuit right now. Everyone's still in this race. Perico now with the fastest lap of the race. Can feel that he is closing in on these two in front. We are on the penultimate lap. The last lap board will be out this time to the drivers. But Tam and Singh still locked in battle here right now. Entering into that final sector. Perico's right there. He's closed in. He'll have the slipstream down the start-finish straight. And we'll have to see if Tam starts to go defensive here. You would think possibly so, but where would Oscar Singh go for the move? Will he go for it straight away, or will he wait a little bit into the lap? Last lap board goes out. Singh checks over the shoulder. Tam remains focused ahead, but now he's going to hug that inside line. This will bring Perico right into the battle here. We'll keep an eye because Jalilov's there in P4 now. He's got past. Priam Bruno's gone down the order now. He's into P7. Was rotating in P4 at the moment, but now further down. But eyes focus on this one. Perico again with that fastest lap. Here comes Singh to the inside. Perico to the outside. He'll try and get the switch back here on the exit. Has he got the momentum? Has he got the waft to go wheel to wheel with him? No, he hasn't. He stays behind, stays in 3rd place. And that releases Albert Tam now at the front. Tam looking for maximum points here. He is 2nd in the title fight. It's going to be closer to contention, but I don't think he's going to have enough to do today. Priam Bruno, again, just needed to wake up this morning and get out on track. But today is going to be a close fight as he tries to help himself out, secure 2nd in the title fight. Across the line, Albert Tam helps himself out massively in that title fight. Maximum points, 25 points for him as he heads into that final later on. He won't be able to catch but he can defend from the drivers behind in that title fight. Albert Tam from Oscar Singh, Nicolo Perico, 1, 2, 3. It's a back-to-back win for Albert Tam today. He tried to do that yesterday, but just didn't have the pace in that second one. There, the results. Tam from Singh, Perico from Jalilov, Peruzzi from Di Filippo, Krajkovic from Brno, Atika Mir from Ava Lawrence, Felagoni from Lumet, Capella, Brajo and Stambag, the top 15. Kallenberg finishes in 16th place, but of course is under investigation ahead of Lizignoli. Koda Singh from Mason, and it is Daniela Verba from Desani Jr., Constantinu from Kerr, Zucchetto from Garzielik, then Salamanca from Ventnor, Mucho from Zanfari. All drivers finishing that race there. Albert Tam gets weighed, and I think all good. And that is 2 back-to-back qualifying heat wins for the driver from Switzerland. And does that mean, will we later on today be hearing the Swiss national anthem on that podium? That is the ultimate question. But as the points stand now, Tam secures that pole position. Perico will be on the front row alongside. That's a big improvement from the 4th row of the grid. Great work from the Italian. Oscar Singh from pole finds himself on the inside row of row 2. He'll be starting alongside Priyan Bruno. Davide Di Filippo and Achilles Peruzzi will be on the 3rd row of the grid. Krajkovic and Dalilov will be on the 4th row. The 5th row of the grid, Capella and Atika Mir for that final later on today. But there, Albert Tam, a superb start to his final day of the season. Well, let's have a look at the highlights from that race. And again, look at the start here. Right round the outside, carries the pace. Beautifully executed there. Oscar Singh alongside, beautiful kart control from both of them, just to negotiate their way through and round up the hill there. It's so difficult to be so close to each other over that crest, and there you can see the 2 lines in the background now squeezing onto the apex there at turn number 3 as they reclimbed up the hill. Here though, Nicolo Perico gaining those positions early on. He would gain 4 places again in that race to finish in P3. Not the 5 places he gained earlier on after he finished in P2, but still a very, very competitive drive, as there you can see everyone just watching on the field. It's so nerve-wracking seeing the drivers of this age racing at such high speeds, but their talent is very, very high in the academy program, and you can see there just the commitment from the drivers to the inside line there. Atika Mir in that early stage as well. Best qualifying for Atika Mir this weekend, and today P4 in that qualifying session. However, no one can match Albert Tam in this morning's sessions. That's 2 qualifying heat wins out of 2. Finds himself starting on that pole position spot later on today. Superb drive for them. And like we say, these seniors will be out next in a few moments' time for their second qualifying heat in around 6 minutes or so. So we do have a bit of time to wait before that race is out on track. But while we do that, we can remind ourselves of the results from earlier on in that first qualifying heat. There is our race director, Martin Bean, getting ready on the gantry ahead of this last qualifying heat before those all-important finals. But the results from earlier on in qualifying heat 1, fairly interesting. A fair few unfortunate 5-second time penalties going out to some drivers. But it is the seniors who are coming up next for their second and final qualifying heat win of the 2024 season. The results, Luna Flusha of Spain took that qualifying heat earlier on in spectacular fashion, clear by half a second from Markus Šilkunis of Lithuania. Here you can see some of the highlights of that one. But it was Hamza Al-Fayez who was leading the race in the early stages. The driver who had a brilliant qualifying P2 was fighting right up at that sharp end. Certainly made it difficult for Flusha to break away. But you can see Flusha constantly going for those moves there. Firstly through the chicane and then again through the final corner. There is Luna Flusic chatting away with two of the mechanics there. A mechanic Danny on the right-hand side. It's got Sam Fugit on the left-hand side there, mechanicking for Daniel Kelleher this weekend. Kelleher, who was the pole sitter from yesterday, not having the results in this one. Unfortunately, a 5-second penalty going his way in that first qualifying heat puts him P10. There's a look at the final results for Flusic. You can see dominant over the course of the European phase. Only lost out in one race in that one at Valencia to Marcus Shilkunas. They're the Middle Eastern phase, P6, P5, 16th in a lane. That was a retirement, actually, in P16. And then a third in the second one, and then the win in Forsan yesterday, of course. So very strong, and that's where she clinched the title in the racing. She celebrated very much so with the F1 Academy team that are here over the weekend, of course, as the some of the Mercedes development advisors here this weekend in the form of Gran Legru and more, all showing their support for their Mercedes-backed drivers in the racing. They've just witnessed James Anagnostiadis claim a very strong set of qualifying heats there. There is Hamza Al-Fayez. Thumbs up and smiles for Al-Fayez. A brilliant qualifying for him. And as well, a very strong race earlier on. Came away with a P3. So did lose out from Marcus Shilkunas, but however, after that qualifying, a very strong performance nonetheless. And he does have Daniel Kelleher starting just behind there. But we've already mentioned Kelleher and that unfortunate 5-second time penalty that did go his way. Rest of the results in that one, Hugo Heron finished in P4. Very strong result in that one from Austin Gale. But the biggest mover in the front 10, Jean Caras with a gain of 11 places to finish in P6 earlier on. There is Marcus Shilkunas of Lithuania. His results, of course, P2 earlier on behind Luna Flusic. He has that inside row, which means he's primed and ready to not have to worry about anyone on the outside. But we have seen drivers really excel from the outside line today. Yesterday, we didn't see too much of that, as there is the look at his results. And Shilkunas there is at Valencia, that win against Luna Flusic. And that was the first time that Flusic had not stood on a top step of a podium at that point of the season. There is a look at his Middle Eastern phase. And again, consistently inside the top 10 in those finals, but yet to take a win in a final in the Middle Eastern phase of the series. So that is going to be a stepping stone for him, whether or not he can claim that first final win at the end of today in that final. So we'll make sure you stay tuned for that one. That final is due to start at 4 o'clock local time here for the senior category. But there is Daniel Kelleher. Really strong day for Daniel, the Irishman, and his first appearance in the senior category. Pole position in time qualifying, delivered in those qualifying heats. Took a win in both Heat 1 and Heat 2 yesterday. A stark difference to today, though. And like you say, coming away with that penalty and unfortunately dropping himself backwards in the order for P10. Other big movers in that first race earlier on as well. Not too many. You had the likes of Charles Lambert and Gianna Pascal. 13th and 14th place for them. They both gained 6 places in that race. Prix Trevino as well from the Philippines. Also 7 places gained. He finished inside the top 20 in P19. Luna Flusic gets a helmet fastened. Very vital piece of equipment over this one. Beautiful helmet design there for Flusic. The carbon design there underneath, sporting the AMG, the Mercedes logos on there as well. But you see she's got the Spanish and UK flag on the side of her helmet also. But from the island of Mallorca, she has delivered some very strong results over this season. And Flusic right now just needs to get to the end of this one, primed and ready for that presentation later on today, where she will get to stand on that top step. There, a look further back in the order. You can feel getting themselves sorted out now. Pressure starting to build for the drivers to find out where they'll be starting for that final later on. You can see the likes there of Hugo Ron, Franciszek Szygelski, who unfortunately did suffer a retirement earlier on, did Szygelski. As the engines fire up, drivers make their way onto the circuit. Hopefully they all fire up. Well, while they do that, let's take you through that full starting lineup then ahead of the last qualifying heat of the 2024 season. It's Luna Flusha and Hamza Al Fayez on row number 1. Marcus Shilkunas and Daniel Kelleher on row 2 from Hugo Ron, and Austin Gale on row 3. Franciszek Szygelski and Felipe Karras on row 4. They'll have Sky Parker and Adam Sador on row number 5. Isaac Say and Gazi Motlika on row 6. They'll have Mohamed Menemni and Alessandro Biggie on row 7. Maximin Rafalik and Sadamat Soy on row number 8. Jean Karras and Sebastian Courpain go from row 9. They'll have Charles Lambert of France and Gianna Pascal on the top 20 positions on row 10. Charlotte Page and Sofia Sanfari on row 11. They will have Louis Hartmann and Anastasia Genesis on row 12. Julian Pope and Prix Trevino go from row 13. Good result for Prix Trevino in the first race. Can he do it again in this one? Elizabeth Kozlova, Yana Kapoor, Rian Karuz and Cole Hewitson round out the rest of the field. 30 drivers in this race as they all make their way round the track to end their first race. And I think Cole Hewitson not out on the circuit for this one. We didn't see him out in time qualifying this morning, so I think, yeah, very unfortunate situation for him not taking part in this morning's races. Well, of course, this 12-lap race is going to be a long one for the drivers. Of course, their races later on will be even longer, heading into those 17-lap realm for the senior category. But the last 2 races of the season for this field, it's been an emotional one for them. They have delivered strong results over the course of this season. So many drivers have raced on new circuits as well in the Academy program. Of course, so many drivers from Australia and from Asia and from the Middle East. It was their first time racing in Europe in the likes of Cremona and Valencia and Franciacorta. For the European phase, it was the first time for them racing in the Middle East. And we are lights out of racing. This time, it's a good start for Flusha. She manages to hold on to the race lead this time. Hamza Al Fayez, unable to get the run around the outside, stays in second place. Drivers getting themselves through. Marcus Shilkunas holding on to third place as they go through the chicane of turns 4, 5 and 6 into the hairpin of turn 7. And unfortunately for Sofia Sanfari, problems have gone her way. The driver from Morocco, unfortunately, out of contention in this one. She's going to drop right to the back, but she is still in this race. Into the final sector we go then. Flusha leads from Hamza Al Fayez. Shilkunas there in third place. Hugo Heron holding on to P4 right now as the rest go through, but there's a change for second place. Shilkunas gets through past Hamza Al Fayez and steps up into second place. Daniel Kelleher still there in P5. Austin Gale and Szygelski, they're still 6 and 7 at the moment. Isaac Say and Rafalik in 8th and 9th. They've had really good starts to their race. 3 and 6 places gained on that opening lap alone. Rest of the drivers as well, also with good starts. Yana Kapoor up 6 places. Elizabeth Kozlova 4 places gained in the early stages. Hugo on to the inside at turn 8. Gets through past Hamza Al Fayez as the Jordanian heads down now into P4. But still in a very strong position. Kelleher, you can see, just behind the pole sitter from yesterday. Closing in, he's there in P5. Piling on the pressure, Austin Gale just behind as well. Gale has dropped down on this lap right now. He's in a tricky spot right now, but he's trying to push his way forward. Szygelski still behind as well. Back over the start-finish line they go. Luna Flusha. She doesn't need to even race in this situation, but she's looking at maximum points in the qualifying heats phase today. She will extend that title lead even more. She can't be caught. Mohamed Menemni and Isaac Say. Adam Sador rounding out the top 15, down by just under 10 seconds from the rest of the field. 16th place downward sees Alessandro Biggie and Sadamat Soy. Sebastian Courpain from Gianna Pascal. Charlotte Page from Charles Lambert. Louis Hartmann from Kozlova, Pope from Samfari, Karuz, Genesis, Kapoor, and Trevino. Good recovery drive there, actually, from Sofia Sanfari with that spin at the start of the race. But there from Lithuania, Markus Šilkūnas starts on the front row alongside Luna Flusha. And can he claim his second final win of the season? His first final win of the Middle Eastern phase of the 2024 season. Well, we'll have to find that out later on today as that final starts at 4 o'clock. Let's take you through the highlights of that race. Much better start for Flusha this time around. She got a bit sideways in the first race. She lost out on the race lead. You could see how much just trying to hold on to that inside line for Hamza Al-Fayez this time around would have to settle for holding on to second place, but still a really strong start there for Hamza Al-Fayez. Šilkūnas would later fight back, the driver starting on the second row in P3, just sending it down the inside there. Later, Hugo Heron at the turn 8 hairpin there, getting that later move, unfortunately, for Yana Kapoor there in the 241. And the likes of Prix Trevino both out of that opening race, as again the minis and juniors just watching along, helping support the senior drivers out there. Of course, these drivers will be racing in this category, the senior category, in a few years' time. Just got the minis and juniors to get through before they can head to seniors. This is where it really kicked off then. Šilkūnas getting through past Luna Flusha. Flusha then having to defend from the likes of Hugo Heron, Hamza Al-Fayez and Austin Gale. Hamza Al-Fayez trying to get down the inside here. You can see Austin Gale on the outside, gets the switch back, gets the drive on the inside line, gets up past and through. Later, Daniel Kelleher would also get that move, but there you can see still the two retirements in that race, but still smiling and enjoying themselves from the sidelines. Checker flag went out. Markus Šilkūnas secures a front row start, but doesn't secure pole position. That will go to Luna Flusha for that final later on today, starting at 4 o'clock for the seniors. But the final start at 3 o'clock local time here, starting with the OKN Junior final and the Mini 60 final. But we will be back live before that, of course, where we'll be on that starting grid chatting with some of the best drivers in the international scene here in the Champions of the Future Academy program. But that all kickstarts at 3 o'clock, so make sure you stay tuned from us here. We'll see you in an hour's time. Don't go anywhere.